Okay, so the second piece that I found to be extremely powerful and meaningful is called Lue-Enkephalin Flow, with a subtitle of Fountain of Tears. At first I trotted my little self over there and I was like, "What? Check out this fountain! It's so cool!" But then I looked closer and I was like, "Are those ashtrays?" Great Scott, those are ashtrays. How festive! I thought maybe it was like, ooh, let's recycle and make something that was disgusting and turn it into something beautiful. But I actually read the sign, and there's actually a lot more meaning behind it than that. So basically, various glass and crystal ashtrays were taken and used to pretty much signify the remnants of generations of smokers who lost their lives to lung cancer. And this even more significant, the fountain, the water aspect signifies the tears that so many people have shed for those who have lost their lives to lung cancer. That right there is so meaningful. I mean, cancer affects so many people today. It doesn't matter how old you are. There's a good chance that somebody you know has or is experiencing some sort of cancer right now. So the meaning alone for the ashtrays and the water and the symbolism there is huge. But also the title. I happen to be a science nerd, so I knew that Lue-Enkephalin is a natural hormone that your body produces. But I didn't know that tears that are brought on by some sort of emotional influence, whether it's pain or something extremely sad that you're experiencing, any sort of emotional cry that you evoke. Your tears actually produce this additional hormone, and that's Lue-Enkephalin. And what makes it so insane and ironic and extremely sad is that Lue-Enkephalin is the body's natural, it's the body's natural painkiller, that hormone. And thinking about the pain that you experience when you cry or when you lose someone, that emotional pain, your body's producing that natural painkiller to try to counteract what you're feeling. And that's so sad. It's so heartbreaking, honestly. Not only that, but it also explains why you feel better after a good cry. It's a painkiller, but this piece, Lue-Enkephalin flow, this flow of these pain-killing tears from the pain you have experienced from a loss, from such a terrible disease. Like, to me, that's a powerful meaning. That is so powerful. So kind of hypothesizing about the creative process a little bit and what went into this. First of all, I think vulnerability is a huge piece. Tom, the artist, he really had to dig deep into his soul, his heart, his past. And he basically uprooted this pain, and he used that in a very vulnerable way to create awareness, and also just to, I don't know, maybe exemplify. I'm not sure if that's the word I'm looking for, but just he took something so personal and he brought it to Grand Rapids to show the world. And not only that, but so many people can relate to that, and so many people have experienced and are experiencing what he has experienced. Also, actually, like finding those ashtrays. He took ashtrays from the 1920s to present, and he used those throughout his piece. So the layout of each ashtray, that's a huge part of the creative process, is determining that, where each ashtray is going to be placed relative to another, how you'll be able to see them, different heights, different depths, different everything. But also the use of the pillars and the pump and everything, the spouts, to actually make it a functional fountain. So that side of it is extremely creative. It took a lot on his part to come up with that design, but really, for me, what makes it the most creative is the meaning behind it. I crave meaning. I crave meaning in everything I do in life in general. I always want there to be an answer to things when there's often not an answer. But Tom created that sort of meaning for me. I didn't have to search for it here. It was right in front of you. And that to me is so powerful. So incredibly powerful. So considering what influences may have led to the creation of this exhibit, I think that's very straightforward here. Clearly, as he states, he lost a life to lung cancer. That is something that deeply affected him. So having experienced that loss, he wanted really to connect with the community and others who have also experienced that loss. So I think it's a way of offering remembrance to all those that have fallen victim to the disease, but I also think that it was to raise awareness for current smokers in a way, to try to show them, like, this is a fountain of tears. Like, if you smoke and you do get lung cancer and you pass away, like, think of all the people that are left here mourning for your loss, because each and every one of us are an intricate part of this world, I truly believe. So I think maybe it could be an eye-opener for smokers as well as those who are actually experiencing a loss. So some ideologies, what does it point towards, and some critiques of our own culture. I think it reflects a shift, honestly. I think it reflects this huge shift. It used to be a sophisticated and cool thing to be a smoker, but now in today's day and age, it's kind of frowned upon. I mean, think about the restrictions for smoking. You have to be X amount of feet away from a building. You can't really smoke in bars anymore. That type of thing. It's kind of looked at like, I don't want to say a nasty habit, but I think it's finally catching up with so many people that it's becoming more real. It's becoming more sincere that there are health effects to such a terrible habit, and I think with that shift, I don't know that the problem is I don't know that it's actually having as much of an impact as we'd like it to on society. Like, kids still smoke today, lots and lots and lots of teenagers do. Why? Why is that? And I really think it kind of reflects how, especially when you're younger, you feel invincible. And maybe that's something that our culture does. This feeling of invincibility that, oh, it won't happen to me. Like, I can smoke. I'm not going to get cancer. Like, I'm tough. As my dad says, I'm rough and tough and hard to diaper. All those types of attitudes and outlooks have led to this, I don't know, not an increased use of cigarettes, but just, I don't know, a justification for the use of tobacco and nicotine. But, I don't know, I feel like nobody takes it seriously until it hits home and happens to them. Nobody really takes cancer seriously until it hits home and happens to them. So I think that's probably a huge flaw for us as a culture, that we need to work on that. Sure, raise awareness, that's great, but somehow we've got to implement this change and really instill it in these young kids, why smoking is bad and what it can lead to. And maybe it's art pieces like this, Lue-Enkephalin flow. Like, I can't stop saying that. It's just so meaningful. So for this piece, out of the 3 that I found, I definitely rank it 2. And I think the reason behind it is it's a bit heartbreaking and hard for me to talk about, but I'm happy to do so because I think it's important. Ironically, and I apologize if I get emotional, but ironically, the night before I went out to ArtPrize to, seek for these pieces that were, I don't know, what I felt to be the most creative, I got home and my mom, she was waiting for me on the front porch, which is super strange. But she told me, go ahead, go in and eat, do what you got to do, but I'd like to have a talk with you. Which, I don't know about you guys, but anytime you hear something like that, it's never good news. So I was like, okay, and I came in, whatever, sat down, ate. Well, eventually she came back inside, and she unfortunately told me that we got some bad news. And that's not something that obviously you want to hear from your mom, but my dad had been really ill, and he was diagnosed with pneumonia, and which, pneumonia, big deal, right? But they did a chest x-ray, and it looked a bit skeptical, actually, what they found. Apparently they found a mass in his right lung that is non-characteristic of a pneumonia patient. My dad has been smoking since he was 13. He's 57 now. I can't do the math, but he's been smoking a very long time. He is going he's going through a lot right now, and this mass that they found is it really looks like it's going to be lung cancer. And that's something that I never thought I would have to experience with my own father. You know, you can't prepare for cancer. You cannot prepare yourself for that. There's no way to be ready for it. There's no way to accept it. There's no way for the healing process. There's no way for it to be easy. And, you know, right now we don't know for sure. He did have a CAT scan, but because he's previously diagnosed with pneumonia, we have to wait a while for him to, for the infection to clear before we'll know for sure. But, it's really scary because you don't beat lung cancer, you know? That's pretty much your death sentence. And I'm not really that close with my father, but I can't imagine not having one at all. And so this piece, Lue-Enkephalin Flow, is so powerful to me. It really hit home for me because, like I said, that next day when I went out to ArtPrize, I saw this and it was just like, wow, like this is real. This is really something. And to me, that made it so creative. These tears, I don't even know for sure if my dad has cancer, and I'm experiencing Lue-Enkephalin in my tears. So, I really enjoyed this piece. I thought it was bold. I thought it was brave, very vulnerable, and very deep and sincere and real and emotional. And that's amazing. I would be proud of that if I were an artist, to bring about such a response. So, I rank it a 2 because there's just so much meaning embedded in it. There really is. It's beautiful to listen to and to watch and to see, especially knowing and understanding the meaning behind it. So I really enjoyed this piece, and I'm sorry I got a bit emotional.